Hello, Master Tanaka. Hello, good evening. Good evening, beings of light who are here with us today. Good evening, friend channel, Norton. Once again, we are gathered, always reviewing our main goal, which is to guide you in relation to the practices that you will carry out later on, and giving the appropriate guidance for this process to be successful. As for our friend Channel, we know about his experience flying over the coastline of the city. We guided him for this to happen, in order for him to be able to visualize it. As we have said earlier, you can visualize that moment and record in your memory the feeling you experienced at the time you were on this flight. The feeling you had at that particular moment. All of the sensations is what should come to mind in order to facilitate the levitation process. This positive feeling, a good feeling of floating above most people, above the buildings, and seeing that wonderful landscape. These are important sensations to have in your memory, so they can be of help at the right time to facilitate the levitation process. The positive feeling, the pleasant feeling of being in space at a high altitude should always be remembered in order to transcend the sensations that are usually negative when one is not accustomed to heights. Therefore, the feeling of insecurity, of fear, must be replaced by the feeling of joy, of satisfaction. In other words, positive things in your mind. And so, any negative element to levitation is removed when these pleasant thoughts come to your mind. So it is necessary not to think about the negative things of being high up, but about the positive things. That is why we made a point of intuiting you to make this pleasant excursion, this pleasant moment, to have this pleasant moment during your time off, during your holidays. Another important thing to mention to you is the topic of communication between you two, Master Tanaka and our friend Channel. Communication through the mind, no longer through words. The more our friend Channel masters this communication through telepathy, the easier will be the transmission of Master Tanaka's ideas to his disciple, and this process of knowledge transfer will be much more effective, much more accelerated. Through telepathy, it is possible to absorb a quantity, a volume, and a much higher quality in the teachings. A communication through telepathy is worth much more than many words, because you enter into a much more effective way in understanding the issues. Therefore, friend Channel, Master Tanaka, it is important to train the telepathy process that is so close to happening between you two, because of the strong connection you both have, including of other lives, as well as by the energetic vibration of each of you. So the path is perfectly clear for telepathy to happen between you. And of course, this will become a regular mechanism between you and between Master Tanaka and the other disciples. It is a matter of training. It is a matter of trial and error. It is an experimental issue. However, as was very well said by Master Tanaka, our friend Channel must devote himself to understanding what telepathy is, to understanding mainly some of the issues that I, Master Saint Germain, have already brought in my books. So it is important that my books are studied, as well as my way of thinking and my activities while on the material and on the spiritual plane. It is important to understand the concepts that have been used or that are used by the people who follow me. By me, by the people who follow me, by Master Tanaka, and then understand the shortcut in learning, or rather, in the case of our friend Channel, learning again, because this has already been done in other lives. Therefore, it is much easier for our friend Channel, who has already gone through these situations in previous lives. But it must be done. This study must be done so that everything is properly remembered. The details are important. Accurate reading is especially important to be done. With each new reading, even if one has already read a certain book, with each new reading, other aspects are captured. Other knowledge is absorbed for sure. This, for sure, our friend Channel has experienced already with other books. Very well, Master. Very well, friend Channel. This is just the data, the initial information for you. With the awakening of telepathy, many things can be accelerated because telepathy not only enables the knowledge of the information of your conscious, but also of your subconscious. As is known, our beloved Master Tanaka possesses a vast knowledge recorded in his Akashic records. Let us put it this way. And a lot of that information is being properly accessed from past lives. So the idea is that our friend Channel, through telepathy, can also understand how to access his Akashic records, how to access the knowledge acquired in past lives. And from then on, an exponential growth will be perceived. This really is the best path for you. Other important issues worth repeating are the issues related to your routine activities, your daily lives. It is necessary, as has already been said, that changes are made in some things of your daily lives. As already said, try to have a more balanced diet, a healthier diet, without so many processed foods, without so many foods that bring no organic benefit to you. Therefore, it is necessary to gradually change your mind and no longer be fed by pleasure. Pleasure will be searched in several other ways, but food should be an organic issue. A question, let's say, structural of your being, and not a form or a pursuit for gratification. From the moment you understand this, it is much easier to make these changes. The search for pleasure should be avoided at mealtime. We know that processed foods are very tasty for the palate, but we also know the harms of these same foods to the body. And this is one of humanity's greatest troubles currently. It is quite common to see people subtracting days, months, years, decades of life because of indulging in food, because of taste gratification. You must understand that this pleasure has been decreasing, shortening your time on the material plane, to the point that many people die relatively young, and particularly die without fulfilling their goals defined in the reincarnation plan. Therefore, the issue of dietary habits is a rather critical issue. And as we know, it is of great difficulty to let go of an addiction. Addiction to taste pleasure is as difficult as alcoholism, as drugs, etc. Yes, it is an addiction. It is an addiction that must be reconsidered. It should be really eliminated little by little from your lives. It is important that you seek other forms of pleasure. The pleasure of being within nature. The pleasure of the simple contemplation of beautiful things of nature. The pleasure of doing manual activities, such as handcrafts. Anyway, I'm sure you understand this issue and analyze very well how much has already been subtracted from your lives because of this simple pleasure, this simple act. You, Master Tanaka, friend channel, despise people who smoke, despise people who drink, or have even heard that these people are treated as suicides for shortening their lives in search of a pleasure. So, wouldn't it be the same logic in consuming inadequate foods in search of pleasure? I leave this questioning to you. All right, Master, I would have a lot of other things to say. Many other important things for your preparation in relation to these changes in daily activities. But I would like you to focus, I would like you to think very well about this situation, about this issue, and once and for all, change the way you think about this issue. I am sure what we are saying to Master Tanaka, to our friend Channel, is valid to all other human beings, for all the other disciples of Master Tanaka, and is relevant to humanity as a whole. Therefore, I, Master Saint Germain, close this session, aware that you will think about this issue. Gratitude, Master Tanaka. Gratitude, friend Channel. Thank you, beings of light. Thank you, beloved Archangel Michael. And have a great week. So be it, so it is. Thank God.